All right, so thank you guys. I'm here with Antoinette Follett and Karl Dustman of the Percussion Marketing Council, or PMC as everyone in the industry knows it as. And thanks for joining me, guys. Before I get started with everything else, you have an announcement to make, so I want to give you guys the form, and please tell me what you have to tell to our viewers and our readers.
It's kind of a dual announcement because you have both of us on here. So I will be brief because the excitement is more with Antoinette than myself. But the PMC completed this year its 25th anniversary of its existence, in a very successful but challenging year. And that marked a personal goal for myself, which was to conclude 19 years of leadership of the organization and step down from the executive committee at the end of January 2021. And I gave that notice to the board over a year ago that I need to get back to my businesses, get back to all my professional concertizing, and the search began for a replacement. And there was a unanimous decision on the board, and Antoinette accepted that position. So she will be taking on the reins of leading the Percussion Marketing Council February 1st of next year. So I'm going to let Antoinette speak more about the future, and then if you want to talk about what we're doing with COVID-19 today, and tomorrow I have some notes prepared for that as well. So I'm going to turn the baton to Antoinette.
Well, it's really an honor. I've worked with the PMC for 15 years, since 2004, 2015, or 2005, helping with some of the programs, websites, communication pieces. I've known the board all this time and worked with them well. So being able to, finish the 25th anniversary and our big programs we had this year and looking to the future is exciting. It's going to be challenging. There's a lot of changes that have happened in the last 6 months that are going to stick around. We're going to be changing and trying to figure out how to get back to real life events eventually, but there's a lot to do. A lot to do to make sure the industry, we can support the industry, the percussion manufacturers who are our members, and connect the consumers and percussion with percussion products and education.
Great. Before we move on to some of the other PMC initiatives, Karl, if you could just reflect back for a second. I don't remember any time you weren't executive director of the PMC. So can you give me a couple of so I'm surprised to hear the news. Are there any specific memories or just a couple quick moments you could talk about that that you'll remember when you think back on your time there?
Well, it's been a 19-year ride, and the industry has changed dramatically over that period of time. And to give you just very brief insights, we talk about what's going on in the music products industry for 2020. And I reminded the other board members that we will get through this as an organization because we went through it with the economic meltdown of 2008, 2009. We went through it again, or even before that, in 2001 with September 11th. So we're kind of used to being challenged, and the industry as a whole has many of its challenges, but I think the universal tone is that the way out is to sustain the organization by creating more drummers, more players, more customers that will purchase everything from their first pair of drumsticks to their $10,000 drum set through a music retailer. We've been fortunate to have the NAMM Foundation, completely involved in supporting the PMC for 18 of my 19 years. So we're grateful for that. I guess to answer your original question, there's not a textbook or a how-to manual, as I've told Antoinette, on how to run this thing. Because there are two factions. One is the members that pay dues to belong to this organization and give us the authority with their money to create educational programs that create more customers and drummers. The other side of the coin is the NAMM Foundation, who also gives us grateful support financially, and we have to support their missions at the same time, which in some cases are similar as well as different. When I came into this, and it's not a negative statement, it really was 2001 was the beginning. January of 2001, I was handed one banker's box of file folders and said, "That's it, Karl. See ya." And the rest I made up along the way. So there's not a manual, and you will get through all of this. I think the exciting part was seeing the growth. Those early meetings were attended by maybe 5 people. And we had a big room with donuts and coffee, and I was all ready to do a major hosting, and maybe 5 people showed up. And now, you know, we've come out of the closet, so to speak, and we do national panel presentations. We had Mike Huckabee as a guest speaker, and so on and so on. We really are doing things that are making an impact, I feel, and I think our membership feels, on the industry. And quite honestly, it comes down to, if we don't do it, along with NAMM, no one else will do it, because all of the members are so caught up in being competitive in this market, and brand recognition, and new product announcements, and people coming and going. The thought of how do we grow the market, they don't have the time, money, or people to even think about that. So they delegate that through their membership to the Percussion Marketing Council. And I think we've done a pretty good job of that over the past 25 years, really. So it's been exciting and a real honor to work with so many people across the board. And it's not just percussion people, but we interact with guitar associations and piano associations, band instrument companies. We're in everything. And Antoinette, I know, will keep that moving forward and even expand upon that further. So hopefully that answered what you were looking for.
Oh, of course. And, you know, and I guess also I did want to bring up this year, because you know, you said there have been some challenges. I'm sure probably not this big though. So tell me about what has gone on this year. I've been asking some percussion manufacturers, and it'll appear in the October issue cover story, and so I look forward to, you know, people reading that. We've had a lot of responses. I'm really pleased. 7 panelists, in fact. So
Very good.
if you could give me an idea, though, how has the industry changed? I mean, it could be both of you this year. We've seen a shift in several other areas of MI. It's kind of gone from a gigging musician, which you unfortunately don't have, but I'm sure is going to return, to a stay-at-home type, or it might be you know, a weekend warrior that just wants to play. I mean, it's a different clientele for some. Have you seen that as well? And you know, what have you been doing, and you know, to try to counteract this, or to, you know, to express ways to get to these people and say, hey, you know, drumming could be for you as well, or percussion. I mean, how have you handled this year? Because, you know, like everyone else, you were hit blindside. So I mean, how do you handle it?
I think coincidentally, we had already shifted our International Drum Month promotion to a online lesson with a master. That decision was made and announced in January at the NAMM meeting, that instead of a day on site at a concert in May 2020, we would be giving away 8 lessons online with professional drummers. So when COVID hit, when everything went into lockdown mode in March, April, I think the industry in general found that people were at home trying new things, getting back into hobbies they may have let pass. And our traffic on the website for International Drum Month in May was over twice as much as it was in 2019. We had a great response to to get entries into Lesson with a Masters. It fit in perfectly, unexpectedly, to a virtual event that was needed this year. So we were able to reach out. Some of those people that won lessons had been playing for 30 years. They were, middle-aged drummers that were interested in lessons. We had as young as 15-year-old drummers being able to connect with our artists that were Rick Latham, Rich Redman, Gordon Campbell, and Dave Stanich, who gave the lessons. And there were different styles of drumming, and people were able to really do something different. We didn't have to depend on a live event this year.
Okay, great.
And then if I can add to that, and Antoinette knows, the Get Your Sticks Together program, again created in August of last year, not anticipating COVID-19, is where consumers sign up on the website to win 12 free drum lessons at a retailer of their choice locally, paid for by the PMC. Well, the intent was to drive elementary, beginning, starting out drummers into the retail store to get 12 free lessons, get their practice pad, their sticks, their books, all of that. When COVID-19 hit, that had to expand into offering those lessons online. And for those retailers with teaching studios, most of them were able to adapt to that either or way. We can do it live when we reopen the store, or we can start immediately by doing online 30-minute lessons. And I don't have the demographics in front of me, maybe Antoinette does, but for most part, it was kind of a 50-50 split, I believe, between we'll wait till the store opens and do it live one-on-one in the drum studio versus I have drums at home and I want my lessons now. So we gave that goes through the end of this calendar year. So you basically have 12 months of 12 lessons. So we're giving 144 free drum lessons by the end of this year, paid for by the PMC, to everyone that was a beginner to, as Antoinette mentions, maybe a person who's been playing for 20, 30 years. And that kind of addressed the immediate need for virtual connections.
Right. Okay. And I think another thing you mentioned before was the website. I think you're making some upgrades to that. Is that right? Did you want to mention something about that?
I only caught part of it, Antoinette. Go ahead.
Yeah, we're going to be doing more with our website to provide more information for new drummers. Also, continuing with the lesson with a master, and we had the webinars in April and May with professional drummers. We're going to open that up, be doing more Zoom, live chats, streaming events with professional drummers. There are so many great drummers who also are educators and teachers that can supply information that people are looking for. They come to play drums to learn about playing drums, not necessarily to learn about the PMC. So we're hoping to create a channel where more professional drummers can get involved, talk about what they're doing, how they can help new drummers, and give them another channel besides their own personal social media, filtering it through playdrums.com.
Okay, great. Before we move on to the future, I have a tough one for you, Karl.
Okay.
What advice are you going to impart on Antoinette? Or have you already, maybe? What will you tell her about the role?
Well, the short answer of that is we're so busy transitioning and trying to give her all of the tools in her toolbox that she will need. I really haven't started thinking about what 17 words of wisdom can I leave behind, but it's really a case of stamina, if you will, because it is a time-consuming element that she knows going into it. Having worked closely with me and the 3 other board members, there's a lot of time that this takes. And you justify that sometimes not so much in dollars and cents, but by passion for the industry and for the people that share that passion that you're working with. So I'm going to have to give you a rain check on those 17 words of wisdom. But for right now, I think Antoinette knows it's going to be a stamina issue of it's a long day, it's a long week, and when you think you're done, you're not. And it never stops. Really. As soon as you think it's all under control and going smoothly, it isn't. So I don't want to scare her.
Say that, okay. I don't know if that helps. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I understand. Well, I mean, you're going to be retiring in January. Is that right, Karl?
End of January is the official print date. Yes.
What are you looking forward to doing? I mean, at that point, have you thought about that?
Well, sure. I don't use the word retiring because it's not that. It's a stepping down process. I mean, I have 2 businesses that I run, and in addition, I play professionally throughout the entire year, and I tour with the Mantovani Orchestra as their principal percussionist. So I'm on the go constantly. This is not me retiring and going to work on my train layout 24/7, which I haven't been able to do in years. But I have 2 businesses, a marketing communications company with all kinds of clients, and I have an orchestral percussion showroom here in Cleveland that we sell to the Cleveland Orchestra, the New York Phil, all the conservatories. Those are 2 full-time jobs, and the PMC was supposed to be a spare time extension of that. And it has just grown and grown and grown. So it allows me to step back, if you will, from the PMC and take all of that time and put it back into those 3 entities. So you will still see me a lot around, but just not wearing the PMC hat, that's all.
So you're not going to be at the pool playing tennis, okay?
Definitely not. A, I don't swim. B, I don't play tennis. If I have that kind of time, I would be waxing the Corvette and working on my Lionel train layout.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, thank you. I mean, Antoinette, I think we should, before we wrap up, I do want to get into the future of the PMC. Tell me what the future looks like. I mean, it's, I think the word euphoric might be a bad choice of words, but I think if we get past this, which I'm hoping, I mean, there are a lot of experts who predict things are going to be pretty good. People are going to start saying, hey, I survived this horrible nightmare and I'm going to enjoy my life and spend some money. And it looks like that could be the case for music as well. And, I kind of get that feeling sometimes. So I kind of understand it. So when you get past this, I mean, you're still going to go through a hard time, I assume, in January when you take over, or February, but there's a chance for some pretty good things to happen in the future. I mean, how are you looking at that, and what do you think the future looks like for PMC?
Well, obviously, I don't think anyone can say it's business as usual. We're all looking at what do we do now? What do we change? How do we get back to normal? I do think next year, people are going to really want to get out to live events, concerts. Live music is going to come back. There's no doubt about it. Music in general, you can't stop music. It gets us through the difficult days, and we celebrate, and it's a creativity, that art. I mean, they're talking about already how many musicians are creating and putting out new music and albums. There's going to be a flood of touring. And while our audience aren't necessarily those professional musicians, they inspire the next generation. And we are looking at how do we work with professional drummers to bring people into playdrums.com to learn how to get engaged in drumming. So like you said, there's optimism to look forward to. There's going to be new things. Another part of, a little change in our mission that I foresee is that we're going to have to get involved in more music education advocacy, making sure that the music in the school programs stay funded, stay required. That students, children as young as 4 and 5 years old, get to a music class, get to bang on a drum and experience and learn what their passion might be. So, following along with the NAMM programs and support music programs, we're able to take that message and bring it to more drummers who are passionate, bring it to the parents of younger drummers who are engaged in our website, and help them to advocate in their own neighborhoods. So that's going to be a very important challenge in the coming years as education is shifting as well.
Yeah, no doubt. Thank you. It's a great answer. I mean, it's everything you said. I mean, it's just starting with the live performances. I mean, it's amazing how we kind of hit the perfect storm of bad stuff, and it's just like it was just like live performances I can't see anymore. The sports were taken away for months, and they finally returned. I mean, but the live music hasn't, and it's such a shame. It's just you realize how much you miss things when they're gone, and you take them for granted. And then on the education standpoint, it's advocacy. I mean, everything I missed throughout the year. I mean, most people miss the NAMM Show the most, and I missed that tremendously. But I mean, I really miss the NAMM advocacy fly-in. I mean, that's just an event that I really love.
Yes.
Just so we could promote music making, and on Washington D.C. On Capitol Hill. So it's just something so sad. But I hope next May we could return to that. I'm cautiously optimistic.
I think it's going to be more important than ever. We're all seeing the shift in education, and yes, schools are going to be focusing on Common Core, but they need to remember that music is vital. Music and arts are vital to development and education, and we're going to have to advocate as musicians and as an industry to keep that in the curriculum for students in the coming generation.
Okay, great. Well, thanks, guys. Karl, I want to wish you luck on your non-retirement retirement.
Thank you. Thank you.
Antoinette, good luck on your new role. That's fantastic, and congratulations. Before I let you go, is there anything else you wanted to add? Anything you wanted to say? That we didn't bring up yet.
I would just add a note of thanks to the percussion industry, and it's not so much for myself, but for their support and their involvement in the Percussion Marketing Council. There are all challenging times. Every dollar and penny is being watched, and I think the term "we're all in this together" is a little overused these days, but this percussion fraternity that we all belong to is probably the most closely knit group of people in the music products industry. And I appreciate really the opportunity to get to know just about everyone out there that has that passion for percussion, as I do and as Antoinette does already, and she will have even more so jumping into this. So I think we're in for a challenging ride, but we will make it through it, and we've experienced hard times before. So this is nothing new for the PMC leadership and the members, certainly.
Okay.
Yeah, and as Karl said, we couldn't do it without the members, the manufacturers in the NAMM community, and I look forward to connecting with each of them and, you know, exploring how we can make the PMC stronger in the coming year.
Okay. Well, thank you guys so much. Appreciate it, and best of luck.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian.